Something has changed in the AI job market that almost nobody has caught up to yet. Companies are paying over $160,000 a year for people who can actually work with AI systems, and they've started using specific certifications as the filter for who even gets an interview. The problem is that there are hundreds of AI certifications floating around right now, and the gap between the ones that land you a job and the ones that just sit on your LinkedIn doing nothing is massive. So I went through the data across thousands of job listings, salary reports, and recruiter breakdowns, and narrowed it down to 5 certifications that actually pay off in 2026. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which ones are worth your time, how much each one costs, how much they pay, and which one to start with based on where you are right now. The first thing that separates people who get hired from people who don't is understanding that not every AI certification is built for the same purpose. Some are designed to teach you the basics of AI, things like what a model is, how data is used to train it, and what the different types of AI are, and these are useful when you're starting out, but they don't usually get you hired on their own. The other kind is tied to a specific platform, like a cloud service that big companies use to run their AI systems, and these certifications actually move your salary because they prove you can work with the exact tools companies are running. 4 out of the 5 I'm covering in this video fall into the second category because those are the certifications recruiters search for and hiring managers actually recognize. The first certification on this list is the one exception, and it earned its spot for a specific reason that has nothing to do with the platforms. The reason the first certification on this list isn't a platform-specific credential is that it solves a different problem entirely. A lot of people trying to break into AI fail before they even apply for a role because they can't speak the language confidently enough to get past the first screening call. Google AI Essentials fixes that, and it's one of the most downloaded AI certifications on the internet right now with over 900,000 learners enrolled and a 4.7 out of 5 rating on Coursera. What you learn in it is the foundation of AI fluency, how AI actually works, how to write effective prompts, how to apply them to real work scenarios, and how to use AI tools responsibly, which is the exact vocabulary recruiters screen for in the first 60 seconds of any interview. The thing that makes it different from every other beginner AI certification is that it comes directly from Google, which means the credential carries actual weight on a resume instead of disappearing into the pile of random online courses. It costs $49 on Coursera, takes 4 hours to complete, and has 0 prerequisites, which means you can finish the entire thing in a single weekend without any technical background. But what it does is qualify you for AI-adjacent roles that typically pay between $86,000 and $117,000 in the US, especially in marketing, product management, operations, and consulting positions where AI literacy is becoming a requirement. If you're completely new to AI and you want the fastest, cheapest, most credible way to start showing up on a recruiter's radar, this is where you begin. The other reason this one works so well is that it gives you the vocabulary and confidence to talk about AI in meetings, interviews, and on your resume, which is the first thing that gets you taken seriously before anyone even looks at your technical skills. Now, once you have the fluency locked in, the real question becomes whether you can actually build with AI, not just talk about it, and that's where the next certification comes in. Imagine walking into an interview and being asked to build an AI-powered customer service tool on the spot using a specific platform the company already pays for. That's the exact scenario the Microsoft Azure AI Engineer Associate prepares you for, and it's why hiring managers at Fortune 500 companies specifically search for this credential on LinkedIn. This certification, also called the AI 102, teaches you how to build AI applications using Microsoft's cloud platform Azure, which has become the dominant choice for large companies, especially ones in finance, healthcare, and consulting. The reason this one is so relevant right now is that Microsoft has a deep partnership with OpenAI, which is the company behind ChatGPT, and a lot of enterprise companies are building their AI tools using that integration. So when you earn this certification, you're specifically proving that you can build the exact kind of AI systems Fortune 500 companies are rolling out right now. The exam takes 100 minutes and costs $165. You'll want some basic programming knowledge going in, ideally Python, but you don't need to be an advanced developer. The exam itself covers things like how to use pre-built AI services for vision, speech, and language tasks, how to fine-tune models for specific business problems, and how to deploy AI solutions so they can actually be used by real customers. AI engineers with the Azure credential in the US typically earn between $130,000 and $165,000, with senior roles pushing past $200,000. And the demand is especially high in consulting firms helping other companies roll out AI. And a lot of people stack this certification with Google AI Essentials because together they give you the fluency to talk about AI and the technical skills to actually build it, which is what most entry-level roles are looking for. Now, once you've proven you can build AI applications, the next level is showing you can design the system systems those applications run on, and that's where the highest paying credential in the industry comes in. This is the certification that opens doors at companies you might think you have no chance of working at. Google, Meta, Amazon, and every AI-first startup specifically look for this credential when they're hiring senior machine learning roles, and it consistently shows up in the highest paying AI job listings of 2026. The biggest difference between this certification and the first two is what it actually teaches you, and it's called the Google Professional Machine Learning Engineer Certificate. The AWS and Azure certifications focus on using existing AI tools to build applications, but this one goes into the engineering side of building and deploying machine learning systems from the ground up. You learn how to design data pipelines, train models at scale, monitor them once they're running in production, and keep them working reliably even when millions of people are using them. The certification also covers things like how to handle bias in training data. These are the exact skills senior roles at top tech companies are looking for. The exam costs $200, and it's probably the hardest one on this list. Preparation typically takes 3 to 6 months, and Google officially recommends having about 3 years of industry experience before attempting it. But the reason people still push through is the salary data. Machine learning engineers with this certification earn between $150,000 and $200,000 on average in the US. The reason the number climbs that high is that Google's certification forces you to actually know the engineering behind machine learning, not just the surface-level usage of a platform, which means the knowledge you walk out with is the same knowledge senior engineers at the top companies are expected to have. One thing to know before you commit is that this certification is challenging even for experienced engineers, so if you don't have the background yet, the first two on this list are better places to build up to it. But there's a specific type of role where this certification isn't the optimal choice, and that's where the next one comes in. You're hired at a fast-growing startup that just raised a funding round. They have a machine learning prototype that works in testing, and your first job is to turn it into something that can handle 1 million users without crashing. That's the exact job the AWS Certified Machine Learning Engineer Associate prepares you for, and it's the role companies are hiring for the most right now. What you learn in it is specifically how to take a machine learning prototype and turn it into a production system that runs at scale using Amazon's machine learning platform called SageMaker to prepare data, train models, deploy them, and keep them running smoothly over time. The exam costs $150, and preparation takes 6 to 10 weeks on average. AWS recommends about a year of hands-on experience before attempting it, so this isn't where you start if you're completely new, but it's a realistic next step after Google AI Essentials and some basic Python experience. Because AWS holds the largest share of the cloud market across every major industry, this certification is the most transferable credential on the list, meaning it works whether you want to work at a startup, a big tech company, or a Fortune 500 enterprise. Certified AWS machine learning engineers in the US typically earn between $120,000 and $160,000, with senior roles pushing past $200,000. And because it's still new, the exam hasn't been saturated yet, which means there are fewer candidates with it on their resume, and that scarcity translates directly into higher offers during negotiation. Now, the last certification on this list is what almost nobody's talking about, but once you see who's hiring for it, you'll understand why I saved it for last. Every bank, hospital, and major retailer has a hidden problem that rarely gets talked about. They're sitting on massive amounts of customer data, and they desperately need people who can make sense of it and eventually turn it into AI models that drive real business decisions. But finding those people is almost impossible because the talent pool is so small. That's the problem Databricks solves, and the Databricks Machine Learning Associate certification is how you become one of the few people who can actually do that work. Databricks isn't a household name outside of tech, but it's become the backbone for how data-heavy companies like MasterCard, Barilla, Columbia, Heineken, Mercedes, and more run their machine learning operations, which is why the certification is quietly becoming one of the highest-paying credentials you can earn. The certification teaches you how to work with something called a lakehouse, which is basically a single platform that combines the ability to store massive amounts of data and run AI models on that data all in one place. Before lakehouses existed, companies had to set up separate systems for storing data and for running their AI models, which meant engineers spent most of their time moving data back and forth between systems instead of actually building anything useful. Large companies in finance, retail, and entertainment are moving to this architecture because it's more efficient than running everything on separate systems, and the companies making the switch are paying premium salaries to hire the engineers who can operate it. The exam takes about 90 minutes and costs $200. It's recommended to have 6 months of hands-on experience performing machine learning tasks beforehand. What makes this credential quietly valuable is the combination of rising demand and low supply, because there are way fewer certified professionals on the market, which means the people who have it can command premium salaries without competing against dozens of other applicants for the same role. Databricks certified engineers in the US typically earn between $146,000 to $170,000, with senior roles hitting $150,000 to $250,000 or more. The other reason this one is worth paying attention to is that once you have it, you're in a very small pool of candidates for roles that pay extremely well, which gives you leverage in salary negotiations that people with more common certifications simply don't have. So those are the 5 certifications that actually matter in 2026. And the question now is, which one you should start with? If you're completely new to AI and don't have a technical background, start with Google AI Essentials because it gives you the foundation and the Google-backed credential without requiring coding experience, and you can finish it in a single weekend. If you already have some programming knowledge and you're targeting enterprise or consulting roles, go straight for the Azure AI Engineer Associate because the Microsoft OpenAI integration makes it the most relevant certification for corporate AI right now. If you're already working in tech and you want to maximize your salary, the Google Professional Machine Learning Engineer opens the biggest doors, even though it takes the most effort to earn. And if you're aiming for a specific industry that's heavy on data, like finance, retail, or healthcare, pair either the AWS Machine Learning Engineer Associate or the Databricks certification with your existing skills, because those two have the biggest salary upside in those sectors. The mistake to avoid is trying to earn all 5 of them at once, because spreading your effort across multiple certifications means you won't go deep enough on any of them to actually be useful in a job. And the one thing most people miss is that Google AI Essentials is what makes every other certification on this list actually learnable, because without the fluency it gives you, the technical exams feel impossible. The cheapest way to earn it is through Coursera Plus, which gives you a single yearly subscription that covers the full course plus hundreds of other AI prep courses on the platform. So whenever you're ready to get started, the Coursera Plus link is pinned at the top of the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.